He said, and commented by our brother Michael. You know the ones on the various corridors on the various floors.
There's also another one that they call the back-to-back after the shared. Yes. Getting to the people will even let you give the offering. After that, there will be a special donation for this project.
Yes.
TV fundraising. Oh, maybe myself, I would have taken it. TV fundraising.
In fact, Philadelphians are.
If it must be done, if it must be done, it must be done well, and that is his hallmark. Look at the screen.
Oh, it's
Mamma
wonderful.
mia.
Right.
So huge and beautiful. Yes, so we have Brother John, who is the shepherd. LG UHD TV 86. Yes, Brother Safo
yes.
Also helping them lift it. So you see a trait of Stephen Kyei-Duah in all. And the screen is so huge.
Everything is real.
So huge. Wow. Okay, so that's Obuase for you. Let's look at another place and then we continue with the show. Okay, so Asunyane, the delivery van is also there to deliver.
Wherever you are seated, you can see clearly for yourself.
Yes. And it's LED. It doesn't cast shadows.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't cast shadows. So even if you are sitting far behind, you should be able to see the images clearly.
May the Lord bless.
Decentralization. Oh, this man. Hi. Oh no. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Let's get our people address. Who is a Philadelphian? Because every now and then Stephen Kyei-Duah unfolds some principles and characteristics of Philadelphians. So who is a Philadelphian? But Stephen Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God. We are not supposed to pray for the death of our enemies, but bless them. What else did he say concerning a Philadelphian?
Right. Before we even get to the establishment of who a Philadelphian is, that prayer sessions which target the enemy, that like Brother Michael has already said.
Now, let me follow up on this. In our society, we usually jubilate over the fall of others. You understand? If I'm a man of God, then when I see a colleague in trouble, I jubilate, or I should jubilate, because
think evil of others. Currently, you may not know what will happen in your time. He admonishes us always to put ourselves into the person's shoes.
Okay.
Feel it. So if this had happened to you.
Okay. Do you have something you want to add to this?
I think Mr. Sai has said it all, but adding one or two words to what he said. We Philadelphians put ourselves,
and because of that, members now focus on how to make money outside. It doesn't matter the ways and means I make money.
Yeah.
And you bring it to church, then it is done. Is that core? And they quote. And when you do not have to give, you feel so left out. And the next meeting you don't want to go because everyone rose up, went to donate, and you were seated.
Yeah.
So now it's about making money, and you are telling me before I even bring that money, I should check my life.
Yeah. Let me even add something to what you just said. It's like when they call for, let's say, those who are supposed to sow a seed of 1,000, and then they have this special prayer.
Yes.
That has been attached to it.
I also want to get it.
Yeah. You know, we have to wise up and then be very clear in our minds that these are just antics of the men of God. They are scheming ways just to amass some wealth unto themselves. Why am I even saying this? Because they will call. I was developing a point. Let me end that point and then chip in this.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you are giving an offering unto the Lord, your question was, why is it that when they offer, it's like they don't. There's nothing like.
Yes, you don't get the money. You don't prosper.
You don't prosper.
If actually it's just giving offering that will make me prosper, is that really true? It doesn't work.
So this is like an action and then a reaction to something. Today, what Stephen Adum-Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God, said, he even did gave it with an analogy that if you are being served with the food from the KVIP, would you accept it? And then under good moral terms, no one would accept that. How much more even God, who is very holy and then pure, we carry monies made from immoral acts, corrupt money, and then bring it before God. He would reject it. And then even God is either he will bless you or even curse you.
Okay.
So you trying to sow a seed to attain blessings, rather you be getting what? Curses from God. And that is the main reason why we sow, but there's nothing like any harvest.
So let me follow up on what you said, that we sow, and then instead of getting blessed, we get curses.
Yeah.
So is that why, for instance, someone said, I made a pledge in the church, and I gave money to the church that I want the Lord to protect me and my family throughout the year. And he said, this one, I know the person. He said that very day, that night, his father died. And the reason why he sold the seed was the father was sick, and he wanted God to protect him through last year. It happened on the 26th of December, through to this year. So he was asking if he should go and pay the remainder of the money. And so is that why those misfortunes happen to us after going to church to give?
Yeah, according to Stephen Adum-Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God, that is the main reason. Yeah, because since time immemorial, we've paid tithes, we've sowed a lot of seeds. And then what is the end result?
And collection.
And collection. We've earned nothing from it.
Well, I think I want to add a little to what Brother Michael said. Stephen Adum-Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God, makes it clear to us that as soon as you realize that you are being enticed by men of God to give various offerings and quotations for special prayers here and there, you have to be smart and assess yourself. For how long have you been performing that particular activity? When you are done, then you ask yourself whether you have received anything as a reward for making that particular covenant with God.
Okay.
As Brother Mike already has said, God does not accept unholy things. So next you have to find out, where does the money that you pay as tithe and others go?
That's the question I wanted to pose you. So if you answer it for
yes.
us.
So once you have now established that I am not receiving, then you have to find out where that money goes. Does it go to God? And you get to know that yes, it stays within the house of God. The money goes only to the pastor,
but not to God.
Yes. And the funny thing is that even when we are giving, we give with the anticipation that the pastor, through him, will also pass it on to God for our blessings to manifest. Unfortunately, like I have already said, the pastor keeps on growing in wealth and even can sponsor his kids to schools that take dollar school fees.
Wow.
Then, again, Stephen Adum-Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God, he's a practical man. He makes it clear to us that when we are giving these offerings and tithes, which are abominable to God, we should add it to our debt. He makes it quite simple. Why add it to your debt? You are giving to God money that is unholy, and God is rejecting it. You cannot continue always to come and make mockery of God. So he will find a nice way for you. The business from which you are taking that money from to come and give, with time, you find out it has collapsed. So that is the point where you will now realize that God is not a God that you can make fun of.
Okay.
And this, the men of God have capitalized on and milking the people here and there.
So, talking about men of God milking the people here and there, I want you to answer the same thing. What should be the actual relationship between the man of God and then the members? Or let me go this way: how does God see church members? Should men of God be treated so special other than we the members? Because the sheep and the shepherd, who should take care of the other?
Okay. I think by that you are just trying to find out whether the pastor's soup is different from the church members' soup.
Yeah, for soup, we know that now their soup is different.
Okay.
They are eating good.
Fine. You started by saying that the man of God is the shepherd.
Yes.
And we know that it's the shepherd who leads the flock to where we have good pasture. So they'll be able to nourish by feeding on good pasture. Unfortunately, we are having a reverse situation.
Okay.
And to answer your question, coming back to your question, Stephen Adum Kyei-Duah, the prophet of God, says that every church member or a congregant is a special guest of God. When you have special guests, you always have an attendant who makes that special guest comfortable.
Okay.
So he attributed the pastors or the men of God to those attendants who are to make the special guests, who are the church members, comfortable. And he said, through his own example, as I've already even mentioned, he does not have any seat on the pulpit. He stands throughout his service, but he makes sure that all that visit, he has a seat for you to make you comfortable. He also makes sure that at least you are within an environment where you have good air. So you have people enjoying air conditioning, and even where we are outside, there are fans all over to give us environments which are quite good, right? So based on that, he's still making things comfortable for everybody in anticipation that his master, God, will be happy. So the work of a pastor is to serve God by attending to the congregation so that they will be happy. And when God is happy, then the reward can now be given back to the pastor, who is the shepherd.
Okay.
So, in short, rather the pastor is the servant who is to serve the members who are the congregation.
This is a revelation.
Yeah.
And it is only in this house that you'll be told this. Because in every places we've been, what we hear is that we are supposed to serve the pastors.
The pastors.
And because of that, we all take our offerings, put it together, everyone give it to them. And they are flourishing, whilst we are depreciating.
It's a pity.
So is that why Stephen Adum Kyei-Duah has provided buses for people to be carted or transported to this place free of no charge?
Yeah. You know, as Mr. Cyril Lee said, as a servant of God, even the word servant means that you are expected to serve.
Okay.
Serve to bring glory to your master, which is God the Father.
Okay.
Yeah. And as he also said, the members or the sheep, they are the special guest unto God. So this should open our eyes, our mind's eye, to the extent that whereby certain pastors, instead of serving the members, rather members serving them instead. That is it.
Yes.
So you know, of late, I'll come back to the buses.
Okay.
Let's see what goes on in other churches. As a servant of the Lord Most High, you are expected to serve the word of liberation, the word of peace.
Okay.
So that when the members are leaving to their houses, they will be filled. But here lies the case: church members will be leaving the church, and then, in fact, they will be weeping deep down within themselves. All because the pastor has already set a confusion in the house, which they have to go home and then tackle. So going home from the church with the mindset of going to kill their enemies.
Yes.
And God is a God of peace. He's not a God, an author of confusion. So let's be clear and then be emphatic over here that we should open our eyes very wide. Yeah, and then to try to tell who is a real servant of God and then who is not.
Okay. Now, talking about closing from church and then being dismayed and confused, provoked. There are certain times, even after church, you have to borrow money for transportation. I have encountered one before, and then I also know one person who had to walk to me some time ago for lorry fare or some money to board a car because
You've been milked.
when he went to the church, he has been milked dry. And he even thought he was owing that the following week he has to come and pay. And this was as a result of the wife who took him to the church. So I was thinking, what will happen when they get home? Will this man be happy with the wife? That the little that they had for their children and even for the week, everything has gone away. Okay, so I was asking about the buses. Because in this house we see these huge buses here, 2021 models are registered 2020, 2019, and they are always packed.
Yeah. They are not being used for commercial
purposes. Okay, then do church members or does members pay for these buses? And how did they even come about? Was there any special offering? Because if you are saying that it's not about sowing seeds, and then how did this happen and how do you manage it?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwako. I think we will be going there. Gradually, we are developing and we will get there.
You get there.
Yeah, how they all came about.
Yes.
And then to state very emphatically, there was nothing like a collection of money or giving an offering to buy buses. No.
Okay, what about fueling? Do they pay?
There's nothing like that.
So it's
and
free.
The buses convey them with free transport to everyone's destination. It picks them up every Sunday from their destination and then send them back after church. This shows the kind of heart Stephen Adum-Chedia, the prophet of God, has for the sheep, the members of God.
The reason why I'm hitting on it, because some of these buses, the quality is even higher than what we have as the commercial transport, the VVIP, and so it's worth a lot of money. But in and out.
In and out.
Without taking money.
Yes.
I would say Adom is full of surprises. Yes, he's full of surprises. Okay, so we are saying that, or you are all saying that it's not about tithing.
Yes.
It's not about sowing seed. Neither is it about giving offering that the Lord is not pleased with. Then how do I become prosperous as a Christian? Because whatever we are doing, we are chasing after money, riches, prosperity. Because if my work is flourishing, I don't think someone will tell me to carry out any direction to do that. So if you can help us, what does Stephen Adum-Chedia say? That as
Second Chance TV. Your time is up.
Talking about prosperity.
Okay.
We are looking at it not just as a 9-day wonder, but something which is lifelong. So Stephen Adum-Chedia, the prophet of God, traces that to the time when Abraham wanted to secure his prosperity. So he decided to offer a tithing to Melchizedek. Yes. Because at that time, he was somebody who really was measured to be a holy person.
yes.
So he felt once he did that, then he could have a sort of relationship with God, and that will protect his wealth. Stephen Adum-Chedia tells us that in our case, because we are now in the New Testament era, we cannot just make offerings as done previously.
Okay.
We are serving a three-in-one God.
Okay.
God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So if we want to be prosperous, then we have to serve all the three gods in one with all our wealth. We have to make sure we apportion it into three, or we divide it into three, and make sure that each part of the gods or God is served with one aspect of it.